Well, we have a licensed cheese-making operation here. We're a farmstead cheesemaker, which means we have the animals and milk the animals and make cheese from our own milk. Every year as you increase your number of animals, that complicates life and makes things more difficult to keep the kind of numbers where you need them from a regulation point of view. Specifically, that's mastitis.
Because she's a producer-dealer, it's required that a monthly pooled sample be taken. A high somatic cell in one animal in a small herd could have a large impact on the overall pooled sample that I take monthly.
So finding a tool that would be useful on an on-farm basis to predict when problems might be starting with an udder was really exciting to me. But there's very little out there that's specifically for the goat or that's been tested for the goat.
Liz came to me with the idea that she wanted to pursue a grant as far as developing her own way of analyzing her herd health. And I said, you know, whatever I can do to help you with that, it's no problem.
It would be nice if there was a device you could use right on the farm and test individual animals to determine maybe if there's one or two animals that are throwing your bulk tank off. In my research, I discovered a device that's used in the dairy cow industry to measure the electrical conductivity of the milk, which would give you an immediate reading, which could be indicative of subclinical mastitis. So the theory would be that this device would help a farmer do it right at the point of the milking. One more. So the grant that I wrote was to study using the Mas-D-Tec and compare those results every month to actual tests of the milk that get sent off to a laboratory. I will get a reading of actual somatic cell count, actual butter, fat, and protein, if and what pathogens might be in fact causing an infection and that therefore increasing the somatic cell count. Every time I get the results back, I put it into a program I set up for each goat, and that will just sort of map out all of those numbers. And when I get those results, I expect I will sit down with McDonald, who is my technical advisor, and talk about whether that information is really useful. And had those numbers been something I was working with right along in any normal year versus a year where I'm doing it for grant purposes, would I have made decisions about treating animals or culling animals? Or would those, and would that have actually affected my overall bulk milk tank? So in other words, is it really useful for people in the goat milking industry as opposed to the cow?
Bridging the gap between the regulatory and the farmer is one that sometimes takes time. They have to develop a confidence with each other as to, you know, we're a friend, we're not your foe. You know?
Alex is kind of an unusual inspector in that he isn't just doing his inspection and checking his lists.
Initially, what really drove my interest to Liz is her willingness to assist other farmers within the region so that it wasn't just her economic growth, it was theirs.
When I spoke with Alec about the Mas-D-Tec and the fact that I was going to try for this grant, he was actually really excited because if it proved useful, it would be something that he could share with other people that are in his jurisdiction across the state.
You know, I have a job to do as a regulator, but also I want you to become good at what you do and to become, you know, hopefully become the standard, a gold standard of what good farming is. Everybody shares what they have, they contribute to each other's growth, and everybody succeeds together.